Hello, this is Pira. Welcome back. Now, for those of you who watch this video for the first time, this is the last video of a series on theory of change. So if you haven't watched the first two videos, I recommend that you watch those two videos first. Now, this video is gonna be a little bit longer than the first two videos. So please bear with me if there are any hiccups along the way. Alright, let's get started. So these slides and the following slides provide step-by-step explanation of the exercises to construct a theory of change. Now, if you facilitate these exercises, you can adapt these activities to suit your facilitation taste. The activities are designed to be very participatory. Please remember to watch energy in the room and where needed inject some energizers to lift up the energy. The exercises follow these 5 steps, but theory of change builds on a strong problem statement. As I mentioned in the previous video, this is an important step. So I run through all of them in the next slides. Alright, so the first exercise is to identify the problem. Now in this exercise, you need some flashcards and pens. It's an individual exercise. The idea is to get everyone to think of a problem before they are put into a group work together. This instruction should be self-explanatory here. Now once each participant has come up with their problem statement, they keep it to be shared later on. So they are not going to share to the large group. They will have the opportunity to work together as a group, and one of their problem statements will be used in group exercise that follow. Now before they jump into selecting a problem, participants are formed into groups. So depending on the number of participants, it would be ideal to have at least 3 participants in one group. They should follow the instruction in this slide and tips provided in the following slides. Okay, start defining the problem. These are tips for participants to consider. And again, if you do it yourself, these are tips for you. So this exercise plus the discussion to select one problem as a group, as mentioned earlier, the problems that they all have sort of brought individually to the table may take, this exercise may take up to 30 minutes. Problem identification can take days as well and will involve data triangulation and extensive consultation. So as you undertake this exercise, please bear that in mind. Now the primary objective here is to show you steps for creating a theory of change. Alright, before writing a problem statement, it is important that you identify root causes of the problem. So once the group has already selected one problem, they need to really analyze the root causes of the problem. So I recommend that at least 3 levels of root causes should be identified, but you can do more because we all know that problems can't be effectively solved unless the root causes are addressed. At each level there should be multiple causes and contributing causes. The picture here is an example. This root cause analysis exercise is a subset of the problem identification exercise. That's why it should take a bit longer time. Now once you have done that, your problem statement and each of your root causes should be written on a flashcard. Once done, stick each card on a large flip chart paper as you need to refer to it later on. Exercise number 3, identify solutions. Once you have identified and agreed on a problem statement and all the root causes, the next activity is to identify high-level solution to the problem. It should represent the desired change that you want to see, whatever that is. The desired goal should be written in a short statement, in a short statement on a flashcard, and should be stuck next to the problem statement that you did earlier on the same flip chart paper. Okay. Now, activity number 4, map a pathway of change, what I call the missing middle. Now that you have already established your problem statement and a desired change statement stuck on your flip chart paper side by side, what's missing is the middle. Namely, what will you do to achieve your desired change, which in turn solves your problem. It's your strategies. So this is called pathway of change. Pathway of change shows the outcome or condition that must be realized before the next higher outcome can be achieved. It represents your activities, outputs, outcomes, and these are interlinked as explained in this diagram here. The easy way to identify your pathway of change is by referring to each of the root causes and then define solution for each at each level. Now you need to do all of that for all root causes that you have identified, then write each solution down in a flashcard. Stick it next to the corresponding root cause right under your solution statement column. It would be ideal that each solution builds on best practices, lessons learned, research, and institutional experience. Those solutions, should be innovative as well. Now, once you have come up with the solutions for all 3 levels of your root causes, what you have is that your third level of solutions are your activities. So the third level, the lowest, those are your activities, and your second one would be your output, and then the first one above should be your outcome. So this is not really a linear process. So as you work on your activities, sometimes you realize that, oh, we need to go back and check what resources we need. Or as you work on your outputs, then you realize, no, what we are gonna do will not achieve this. So we need to look at what we're gonna do. Those activities need to be redefined. So um, so once you work on your outcome, you may want to go back to your outputs as well to confirm that those outputs would lead you to achieve your outcome. So this logic really helps you to prioritize the outcomes and action links to each outputs, um, or prioritize outputs and activities that link to your outcome. Sorry, and eliminate outcomes that may be desired but not necessary that are not really necessary to achieve the goal. So you need to really be clear that those activities and outputs and outcomes are gonna help you achieve the solution, the desired goal that you defined. So the next exercise is stakeholder mapping. So once you have identified activities, the next step is to identify stakeholders. They can range from individuals to large agencies. It would be preferable to do that for every activity or even output. This is a simple task, but you can also use 2 by 2 metrics As you work to identify stakeholders, important questions to ask are who else is working in that field? Um, are there opportunities for cooperation and partnerships? Is there likely to be competition with others? What activities should be left to other agencies to do? Then the next exercise would be to work on assumptions. Now, pathway of change are hypothetical based on assumptions. So this exercise is to identify assumptions for your activities, for your outputs, for your outcomes. Assumptions are conditions that are important to the success of your project, but they are beyond your project's control. So here are a few examples. If different sectors are willing to collaborate, then they are likely to be able to work together to develop products or services for the base of the pyramid. Now, another example of assumption is if they are well, if they are aware of market opportunities, so they here we refer to businesses, and if there is an enabling environment for business to operate, then businesses will likely enter the base of the pyramid market. Another example is if businesses, government, and not-for-profit organizations have partnering capacity, then they are likely to partner effectively with each other. So if assumptions are within your control, you should try to include activities to address those assumptions. Issue of capacity, you can perhaps address capacity within your own organization. So you got to do something about it. Some assumptions may be less proven and will need to be tested, documented, and challenged. Exercise number 7, indicators and measurement. So this exercise is to identify indicators and means of measuring your achievements. So you've set all of these activities and outputs and outcomes, but then you've got to set some realistic targets to achieve. And then you have to know how you're going to be successful. So your indicator should be SMART. I'm sure you know what SMART means, but I'll say it again. SMART. S stands for specific, M measurable, A achievable, R realistic, and T is for time bound. So your indicator should have all of these elements. Now, if you need more information, there is a lot of materials available on internet about SMART. Some even use the acronym QQT, quality, quantity, and time bound. Um, for each output and outcome, you need to write down your indicators and how you're gonna measure those indicators. Write each indicator on a card and stick it next to the output and outcome on your flip chart that you already developed in your previous exercises. So for means of measuring achievement of your indicators, you can use a separate framework, which I will show later on in the next slide. So here it is. Now you have already had your indicators, so you need to have your measurement plan in place. It is a framework that will go alongside your theory of change diagram. It forms part of your strategy and work plans. So this is an example of the matrix that you can use. So you need to list down those indicators developed in the previous exercise, and for each of them you need to write down your answers to these 4 questions here. Now, as you develop your measurement plan, consider the time, resources, and reporting requirement as you work on your measurement plan, because you got to think about the cost of data collections and things like that. If it's too expensive, is it worth it doing the whole project? You know, you need to leverage technologies, for real-time monitoring, for ease of data collection, analysis, and reporting. Um, so once you've done that, then you will have your complete uh, measurement plan. So the final exercise then would be to build your own theory of change. Now that you've done all of this work, you have all of the elements that will go into your theory of change, right? So your theory of change should be presented in a logical model diagram. So you have seen examples that I showed in previous video. Um, Again, it's up to your creativity as to which one you want to follow. Now, a logical model should be able to be displayed on a single page with sufficient detail that can be explained fairly easily and understood by other people. Much of the value of a logical model is that it provides a visual expression of your underlying beliefs about why the plan is likely to succeed through one step leading to another. As you can see in the samples I shared earlier, um, theory of change diagram shows only solutions and pathway of change. It has four components at a minimum: inputs, meaning resources; activities; outputs; outcomes. These are really critical. Of course, impact and vision are also part of that. In this exercise, you build your own theory of change diagram using the work that you have already done in the previous exercises. You should now, by this point, have a complete theory of change that you should be proud of. All right, so we are reaching the end of this theory of change theory now. Once you have determined your theory of change, you are on your way to creating a strategic plan for your organization or project, or updating your current plan to reflect new thinking. So much of the work that needs to go into your plan has already been done. Your theory of change will support your strategic plan narrative. Then you are set to go. So this is the final video of the series of theory of change. I hope you find this session helpful. I want to thank you for staying with me throughout these three videos. I wish you the best of luck, and bye for now.